So Kyle Brindza, good to see you, man. It's been a while. It's been a quite a ride for you. You know, when you come back here and like you stand on this field, do you think of where you've come from? What do you think about?
I mean, I think you nailed it. I think about where I come from. You know, what truly built me where I am today. You know, from the game winners on this field, or you know, the tough losses that helped me become a better kicker as well as a better teammate. When I step on this field, those are pretty much what just goes through my head, and how much blood, sweat, and tears have gone on this field with my brothers over at Plymouth.
Right. When you think about your high school football days, what first comes to your mind? What moments?
The moments for me is that state championship run we had. I mean, even in the first round against Saline, I remember we said we were going to get upset. We beat them. Next round we played Canton. They said they were going to kill us. They beat us 36-0 in the season. We beat them. Then we go play CC. They're supposed to roll over us. They're the new #1 team. Canton was the previous week, and then you know we beat them, game-winning field goal. And then we go to Rockford, new #1. We're supposed to get beat again. And, you know, we win. But it's those underdog stories that will stick with you for a lifetime, and you know that's one of the kind of biggest and blessing moments I've ever had here at Plymouth.
Yeah, it was an amazing run. I remember we had our radio show, and we were, you know, on Friday night, and we're like, oh my gosh, they beat Canton. You know, can they do it next week? You had a big part in doing that. Is that really one of the most? I mean, you've done so much since then, but is it something like that championship run that brings you back and says, wow, this really means more?
Oh, it definitely means more to me, because if I never had that run, and we were kind of knocked out of the first round or maybe the second round, never had that experience on my belt of playing in those huge games and tough situations, pressure, crunch time, I don't think I would have been able to perform at the level I did in Division I. You know, step in right away and be able to become a kickoff guy. And then the next year end up helping lead the team to the national championship. If I never had that run here in high school, I don't know if I would have been able to help a run like that at Notre Dame.
Right, you definitely had some experience. So you were born in Indiana, so you grew up a lot before you moved here in Indiana. Notre Dame was your dream school, you know. When you look back at your time there now, you know, obviously up and down, that's life's journey, right?
Oh yeah.
But you know, just talk about that experience, because it was amazing.
The experience for me was, I was going there not as a four-year student athlete. I was going there for a 40-year decision. You know, I was able to get a great degree from Notre Dame. A lot of people can't say they were able to go through the academics as well as athletics there at Notre Dame. And for me, it was a blessing in disguise for what I was having put through the pressure off the field and on the field. Obviously, I wish I would have performed a little bit better at the end of the year, coming down my senior year, but I think it's also a blessing in disguise, just as being a student athlete, just because now I have those tough situations under my belt that I can throw out the door and say, hey, go on to the next level in the NFL, and now you have those tough situations under your belt, don't do it again. So I've been through that everything, and you know, I'm kind of making my way up to the top slowly, but for me, it's never be complacent, and that's one of the biggest things I learned at Notre Dame. And you know, for me, it's going to be a fun ride the rest of the way.
Absolutely, and the beauty of it is Music City Bowl. You know, you get a chance. You know, it's going to be your final kick in college, and right through the uprights.
Oh yeah, it was kind of funny, because you know, the whole time I was like, wow, it's going to come down to a game-winning field goal. Fourth quarter comes, I'm like, you know, this is actually going to be a game-winning field goal. And then, so I was already picturing it through my head, which was kind of like I've always been mentally. I've always pictured it in my head before I went on the field, because if you've already been there for 2 seconds, you're going to be perfectly fine. You're not going to have any nerves. And I never really get nervous. The only times I can recall getting nervous was my first game winner against Franklin, their homecoming. So it was kind of just, all right, you've already been there in your head, so it's going to be an easy situation.
And the moment it went through, and the jubilation with your teammates, describe that. Can you?
Oh, it was, all I can remember is just turning around and running straight for Coach who was over by Everett, and just because I owed them something. I owed them something for the past 3 games. I was struggling, and being able to give them something back like that was truly, you know, a blessing for me, just because I was able to say, hey, I might be a senior, you know, I'm supposed to be perfect all the time, but here's my, you know, giving back to you right now. And you can always count on me, and that's what kind of our philosophy was. Can you be a count on me type of guy? And thankfully I was able to.
So now we go to the next phase of your life, right? The it's all business now phase.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know, at the time we're filming this is draft week. What, I'm sure you have an agent and all of that, right? So what's going on with you right now as we tape this on Monday?
All I'm doing right now is just training and focusing. I was training down in Naples, Florida, with Ignition, my workout facility, as well as my kicking coach Brandon Kornblue, for about the first 2.5 months. Went to the combine, performed very well, and then I went to pro day March 31st, and you know, I did as well as I possibly could. And I told all these NFL teams, like, hey, just, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna be, you know, at the top of my game come combine. Watch me from my senior year to my combine, tell me how I do, and then remember that and watch me from my combine to my pro day. So all for me right now is going uphill and just trying to progress day in and day out. I'm just trying to win the day. That's pretty much all I'm trying to do for these past 4 months. I've just been trying to win the day because I know if I prepare, at the end of the day, it's going to be left in someone else's hands, and I can't make the decision, and try not to control a little bit more than you can. And so it's just been a blessing for me that I've been even able to have this process, but have such a great process that I've had. And for me, it's just left in someone else's hands to see if they want to, you know, take a shot with me.
You even worked out with the Lions, right?
Yes, sir.
So what was that like?
Oh, it was cool. I went for a visit as well as worked out. Did pretty well. But at the end of the day, you know, they signed Prater to three years. But for me, I'm not too worried about, you know, if they sign anybody or any team signs anybody. This past year, the year before, they have a great veteran, because I know I can get into camp somewhere and be able to show my leg. And I've improved my accuracy so much more than my senior year. So it's just someone being able to give me a chance and taking a shot on me that I can prove them wrong.
How much do you want this?
Oh, I want it so bad. There's no reason why I should not want it as bad as I do. You know, people always ask me, you know, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, where are you going? Like, right now I could care less. I just want the shot, the opportunity, because I know when I get that opportunity, I'm just going to run with it. That's how I've always been. Coming into high school, I got the opportunity as a freshman to be on the varsity team, ran with it. Notre Dame, ran with it. And that's how it's going to be at this level. I'm just going to take it and run.
Now, do they tell you, do they say, hey, you expect to be drafted? I mean, I don't know how it works, so we're kind of living vicariously through you.
Kickers and punters are a little different, right, just because usually 1 or 2 get drafted a year.
Right.
And, you know, as for me, I had a great, you know, sophomore year starting off, and then went to the national championship. Then junior year, I was 80%, and then senior year fell off a little bit. So right now, they're kind of almost saying it's like a little risk, but at the end of the day, I'm telling them it's not a risk. If I've done it before, I know I can do it again, and I can do it that much better. Just go look at my pro day or my combine, and just understand that when I get into your camp, whether I'm drafted or free agent, I'm going to be able to perform at the top of my level and be able to compete against your starter, maybe that you have set out that I was supposed to get beat out by. But for now, it's whether I get drafted in the 7th round or free agent. Yeah. I'm not too sure, but
it doesn't really matter. Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, for most part, because especially during it, you know, somebody's gonna bring you to camp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So somebody's gonna give you a shot. You're gonna get a chance to kick an exhibition season. What do you think it's gonna be like to actually put on an NFL uniform?
Oh, it's gonna be different, just because I've been wearing, you know, that gold helmet for the past 4 years. But for me, it's just
Jacksonville could stay gold, but I'm just saying.
True, but for me, it's just gonna be that another opportunity. Yeah. And like you said earlier, it's a business.
Yes.
So this is a business plan for me. Is this going to be the best organization for me? Might not be, might be. If you give me the best opportunity, I'm going to run with it. Yeah. So, you know, for me, it's just going to be, give me that opportunity, and I can care less what colors it is. I will put it on and represent it as well as I can.
All right. Kyle, it's been a pleasure, man. You represented us well.
Thank you.
Thanks, bro.